Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Power of Wallets series. In our last video, we introduced the EUDI Wallet and we explored how it will revolutionize interactions between citizens and organizations. If you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend checking it out for a solid foundation on the basics. Today, we are turning our focus to the issuer side, those who issue the digital credentials to the EUDI Wallet. And this is where the magic happens, transforming simple digital documents into powerful and trustworthy credentials. We will also walk you through an example where we will showcase how issuing credentials to a wallet works in practice. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of the EUDI Wallet ecosystem. You will know what VCs and VPs are, and you also understand how digital credentials are created and issued. But before we dive into our example, let's quickly understand exactly what verifiable credentials and verifiable presentations are. Verifiable credentials, or VCs, are tamper-proof digital credentials that can represent anything from a digital diploma to a digital driver's license. VCs are digitally represented in formats such as Selective Disclosure JSON Web Token, SDJOT in short. These verifiable credentials are issued by a trusted authority and are cryptographically signed, ensuring the authenticity and integrity. Issuers that issue verifiable credentials to an EUDI wallet use an API called OpenID Connect for Verifiable Credential Issuance. Verifiable presentations, or VPs in short, are a way of packaging one or more verifiable credentials to share with a verifier. This could be an employer or a government agency, for example. When a verifiable presentation is presented, you're not just sharing a PDF or a photo of a physical document. Instead, it is verifiable data that can be automatically checked for authenticity by a verifier. Now, let's quickly recap the relationship between the issuer, the wallet or the holder of these credentials, and the verifier. The issuer is the entity that creates and issues verifiable credentials. This could be, for example, a government agency issuing a digital driver's license, or it could be a university providing a digital diploma to a student, or it could also be a healthcare provider issuing medical records. The issuer is responsible for ensuring that the credential is accurate, trustworthy, and cryptographically signed. The holder is the individual or entity that owns and manages verifiable credentials within their EUDI wallet. In this ecosystem, the holder is in control of which credentials to share and with whom. The holder could be an individual citizen or a company that holds organizational credentials. The verifier is the entity that requests and verifies the verifiable presentations of one or more credentials. For example, the verifier could be an employer verifying a potential employee's qualifications. It could be a car rental agency checking a digital driver's license, or it could be a hospital confirming a patient's vaccination status. This issuer-holder-verifier triangle is often referred to as the triangle of trust in the context of digital identity. Now, let's dive into some use cases using this issuer-holder-verifier triangle and understand exactly how these credentials are issued, which APIs are involved, and how issuers can assure that the credentials are securely transmitted to the wallet. We start by going back to our example of the digital driver's license, but this time from the issuer's perspective. Before Alice, our sales director from Denmark, arrives at Bob's car rental agency in France, she first needs to obtain a digital version of her driver's license in her EUDI wallet. The process begins with the National Transport Agency in Denmark, which is responsible for issuing her driver's license credentials to her EUDI wallet. Acting as the issuer, the agency gathers Alice's necessary information, including her full name, her license number, and the category of vehicles Alice is licensed to drive. The National Transport Agency securely creates a verifiable credential containing all of Alice's driving license information using a standardized ISO format. This credential is then cryptographically signed, ensuring its authenticity and integrity, and this cryptographic signature will also protect it from tampering or forgery. Once the verifiable credential is created, it is securely transmitted to Alice's EUDI wallet using the OpenID Connect for Verifiable Credential Issuance API. Now, Alice could use her credentials directly or in any future interaction when she needs to verify her driving license credentials. In this scenario, Alice is called the holder of the digital credentials that are issued by the National Transport Agency. With her EUDI Wallet equipped with a digital driver's license, Alice can travel with ease, knowing that her credentials are not only secure, but also easily accessible for any verification that may be required in the future. When Alice arrives at Bob's car rental in France, Bob, who acts as the verifier in this scenario, requests Alice's driving license credentials as part of the car rental process. The request could be a QR code presented by Bob, which Alice then needs to scan. Alice reviews the request and creates a verifiable presentation, sharing only the necessary details with Bob. Now, let's look at the example of the business partnership onboarding between two companies. One headquartered in the Netherlands, where Marie is the representative, and the other one headquartered in Austria, where Jason is the representative. The two companies are holders of their own credentials, but operated by the representatives Marie and Jason. To initiate the business partnership, Marie's Dutch company needs to collect and manage several critical credentials, which then will be later verified by Jason's company. In our example, there are three different issuers. One, the Dutch conformity body that issues the ISO compliance certificate. Second, the Dutch tax auditor that certifies the financial statements. And third, the Dutch government agency that issues the official company registration. Each of these issuers use APIs such as the OpenID Connect for Verifiable Credential Issuance to generate and securely transmit these credentials to the EUDI Wallet of Marie's Dutch company. We can imagine that in the future, Marie's Dutch company system is integrated with various issuer systems, enabling automatic issuance and storage of these credentials in the company's EUDI Wallet. The secure APIs ensure that each credential is cryptographically signed and securely delivered to the wallet of Marie's Dutch company. For instance, when Marie's company wallet receives its ISO compliance certificate from the Dutch conformity body, the data is cryptographically signed and transmitted to her wallet. And this process is repeated for the financial statements and the company registration document. Marie's company now holds all the necessary verifiable credentials in the EUDI wallet of her company, ready for the partnership verification process. When Jason's company requests these credentials, Marie can quickly create a verifiable presentation, selecting the relevant credentials from her company's EUDI wallet. She can then securely transmit them to Jason for verification. Jason, who acts as the verifier, can now securely verify that the credentials are authentic and up to date. This process drastically reduces time and administrative burden typically associated with manual credential verification. Lastly, let's explore the healthcare scenario. Maria, our nurse relocating from Spain to Germany, needs to receive and manage several important health-related credentials for her new job. These include Maria's nursing license, recent vaccinations, and medical qualifications. Each of these credentials come from different issuers, such as hospitals, clinic, or government agencies. In order to receive the credentials to her EUDI wallet, Maria requests the digital credentials from the different issuers' websites, for example. This process involves both secure authentication of Maria and cryptographically signing the credentials to ensure the authenticity and integrity. For instance, the vaccination records are signed and issued directly by the hospital, while the medical certifications might come from a specialized clinic. Each credential is then transmitted to Maria's EUDI wallet, again, using a secure API like OpenID Connect for Verifiable Credential Issuance, ensuring the data remains confidential and tamper-proof. Maria now has all her health-related credentials securely stored in her EUDI wallet. Later, when Maria decides to move to Germany for her new job, she needs to show her credentials to her new employer. The hospital in Germany, where Maria is applying, requires proof of her medical qualifications and vaccination records. The issuing organization in Spain can revoke Maria's credentials at any time. Therefore, her German employer can be sure that Maria's credentials are up to date and valid. Now that we've seen how issuers work with the EUDI wallet in theory, it is time to see it in action. In the next part of this video, I will walk you through an example showcasing how issuers issue a credential to a wallet using a typical API integration. In this demo, we will explore a use case where a student obtains a language certificate from a private institute called the VOX Populi Language School. I will guide you through the process of how the student can transfer this language certificate as a verifiable credential into their wallet. First, the student needs to log into the language school's website and request their credentials digitally. Our demo student, Will Turner, will log in, and as you can see, Will performed exceptionally well and has earned a C2 level certificate for his English test. At this point, the credential is not yet in Will's wallet, so to transfer the credential, Will clicks the Get Credential button, which generates a QR code. Will then scans the QR code using a wallet app. For this demo, I'm using the Paradigm Wallet, which is available for download in any App Store or Android store. In Will's wallet, as you can see, there are some existing credentials. But to add a new credential, you have to click the icon on the bottom right corner to scan the QR code. In the backend, the interaction between the Paradigm Wallet and the credential issuer is managed through the OpenID Connect flow. Once the credential is transmitted to the wallet, the same details we saw earlier, such as the first name, language proficiency, and overall score, and other credential details are displayed. At this stage, Will has the option to either accept or decline the credential. So, of course, Will wants to have this new credential into his wallet, and he chooses to accept it. And now the wallet confirms credentials added to the wallet. Now, let's look at how to generate the QR code. When a student clicks the Get Credentials button, a QR code is generated. The flow is as follows. When the student clicks the button, the language school's front end communicates with the language school's backend, and the backend interacts with Danube Universal Issuer to generate and issue the credentials using the OpenID Connect flow. Next, we'll look at the API request used to generate the QR code. We send a POST request to the Universal Issuer to initialize OpenID for verifiable credentials. The POST request includes claims such as the credential subject and the credential schema. The claims contain details about the student, including their first name, last name, and the language proficiency they've achieved, as mentioned earlier. The credential schema specifies the type of credential being issued. The response to the request returns a string, which is then rendered as a QR code. And this QR code initializes the Verifiable Credential Issuance to the wallet using OpenID for Verifiable Credential Issuance. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the issuer's perspective within the EUDI Wallet ecosystem. By now, you will have a solid understanding of how credentials are issued and managed within this powerful framework. In our next video, we will continue exploring the technology behind the EUDI Wallet, focusing on how verifiers can verify and ensure the authenticity and integrity of these credentials. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any important insights. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.